everybody, Brett Christensen, Worldwide Striper Collectors. This is video number 4. The topic of this video is going to be something we've referenced in past videos and even on our Worldwide Striper Collectors Facebook group, and that is bootlegs and illegal merchandise. Bootlegs have plagued Striper since they started as a band. It's actually gotten worse in recent years, and the big reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, is it's just so easy now for anybody to make an illegal product, whether it's ordering it online or actually getting the equipment to make whatever you're trying to hawk. So we're going to break format a little bit for this video. We actually have a couple of special guests that are going to be coming up a little later. This video might be a little longer, but let's dive right into it. One thing that is the same is the featured shirt. We do that every episode. And it's the shirt I have on right now. This shirt actually came out in 2009, so it's really not that old, even though it looks vintage. The reason why it looks vintage, and a lot of fans probably know this is emulating a shirt, a bootleg shirt, that actually was in the movie Whip It. Whip It came out in 2009, and the starring character in this movie wears a Stryper shirt that was her mom's. It turns out it was not an official Stryper shirt. It was this Stryper shirt. This is a poorly made Stryper shirt. And when I say poorly, you can see it's To Hell with the Devil image of the guys in the band. Yet on the back, it says Soldiers Under Command. Now, there are two versions of this shirt. One that says Soldiers Under Command, and then probably the second pressing where the bootleggers realized they got the album wrong, and the other one says To Hell with the Devil. So when the shirt came out in 2009, Stryper, actually, it was Dave Rose, Stryper's longtime manager, that came up with the brilliant idea to recreate the shirt that the bootleggers actually made. So for once, it's Stryper striking back at the bootleggers. So that is the featured collectible shirt of the episode.
Wow, from here it kind of looks like you're wearing a Stryper t-shirt.
Probably the number one biggest bootlegged item out there that I've seen, other than t-shirts, is the Angel Artwork To Hell with the Devil CD. Back in the 80s, the US version on CD never had the Angel artwork. There were some foreign versions that had that, but it was never released in the US with the Angel artwork until Michael Sweet did that in the 2000s. So there are a ton of bootlegs out there, and one tip off is if you ever see an Angel artwork CD on the Hollywood Records label, that is not an official product. That is a knockoff. The Hollywood label never put that out with the Angel artwork. Another tip off is if you look at the colors, if the colors are dark and muddy, then it's a copy of a copy. Those are pretty easy to spot, especially Soldiers Under Command within the past year or two. Um, I notice a lot coming out of Russia for some reason. Take a look. If the color looks really dark on the cover, if the yellow looks almost orange, that is not an official product. There's other little things that tip you off, and it's a lot for a fan to remember, to be honest. And with that said, if you're ever thinking about buying a Stryper collectible, a Stryper item, and you're not sure if it's official, shoot me an email at brett@stryper.com, and I will let you know. It has been a sore spot for me for a long time that there's somebody in their basement making these, or maybe even it's a company profiting off of Stryper. And that shouldn't be. That money should be going to the band or going to the record company that has the band signed. This band is an organization. It's a business. These guys are making a living off of the music that they make and the merchandise that they sell. And if somebody else is getting a piece of that income that's coming in, that hurts them financially. And not only Striper, it has a ripple effect. It hurts the merchandise company, management, staff. It has a ripple effect. It ultimately affects fans because if Striper's sales on, let's say, music or collectibles starts to dwindle, those things might dry up. We need to support our band that we love. Um, Many ways we can support them, obviously, praying for them, um, but buying their music, buying their merchandise. Um, it's like I mentioned, it's a ripple effect, and it's a big problem. So I've had a lot of conversations with fans over the years. They don't see that it's that big of a deal. Other fans are confused about what should they do, what shouldn't they do. There's just so much that goes into it. Um, so our special guests that we're going to have come on in a minute, we're going to talk about that. Um, Another collectible that I saw pop up maybe about a half a year ago was a To Hell with the Devil picture disc with the angel artwork. If you ever see that out there, that is, again, a bootleg. It's an illegal product. The third bootleg I'm going to talk about is actually for the Rocks Regime demos that we put out last year. Within a half a year of putting this out, and we only did 1,000. We wanted to make this special. Again, this was for the 20th anniversary of Stryper.com. We did 1,000 on vinyl, multicolor, and then we did 1,000 CD. Within a half a year of putting this out on CD, these started showing up. And on Spencer Records, I don't know who Spencer is, but if I ever see him, I'm going to pop him in the mouth because these started showing up all over the place. And it's a horrible bootleg. Horrible. If you look at the cover here, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this, but the colors are darker. It's a lot muddier. There's not as much detail. And if you look at the actual CD itself, the exact same thing. The colors are not as bright, and it loses a lot of detail. So if you ever see the Rocks Regime demos, again, it's now out of print. There were only 1,000 of them made. If you're seeing one where there's not much detail, it looks kind of muddy, blurry, the colors um, are off, not the yellow isn't as crisp and bright, that is definitely a knockoff. All right, so let's jump in right away to our surprise guest, and that is Dave Rose, who manages Stryper and Michael Sweet solo, and Michael Sweet himself. I chatted with him the other day through Zoom, and we talked about a lot of different issues. So without further ado, we're going to go right into it. Here it is. So let's talk a little bit about what a bootleg or an illegal product is, if we're talking about merchandise or any sort of music. Dave, do you kind of want to kind of define for people watching what we'll call it a bootleg, but it's not an official product.
Sure. So any item, whether you buy a football jersey from your favorite team or a KISS t-shirt or a Stryper t-shirt, if it's legal, it has been legally licensed by the people who own that. In this case, Stryper. So most of the stuff that is legal, you will find on Stryper.com. But there are plenty of people who, there's plenty of companies out there that will just put a logo on whatever and sell it for as long as they can until somebody comes and says, hey, that's against the law. And you can get in big trouble for that. And that's an unfortunate part of the business. For as long as there have been t-shirts, there have been people illegally putting logos on those t-shirts and trying to sell them. Back in the day, it was out of the trunk of the car in the parking lot at the concert. Today, it's a website in Vietnam or somewhere that is selling, illegal T-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget. There's a little better grip on it here in the U.S., but not much. You go on Amazon and you see 100 different items that aren't official Stryper items, and that's disheartening on Amazon, And Brett, you're always taking care of that and cleaning that up. God bless you, man. It's a lot of work and it's crazy and a daily job. But we went to Costa Rica, and I'll never forget, just to give everyone an example of what we deal with daily, worldwide when we're touring especially. Went to Costa Rica and we took merchandise, and we didn't even put our own merchandise out, because before we set up our merchandise booth, there were bootleggers out front selling merchandise. So nobody wanted to buy our merchandise. So it was pointless. We took boxes of merch and we didn't sell any of it. And that's the kind of stuff. And a lot of times, especially nowadays, we rely on our merchandise. We don't make money from the guarantees when we go and play a venue, because that's all gone on expenses. So we rely heavily on our merch and how we do with our merchandise. And if you can't sell your merch because there's bootleggers out front or on Amazon or here or there selling your merch, then nobody's going to buy your merch, and it's going to really cripple the band.
I think it's worth pointing out, Brett, that for the fan who wants to do the right thing and who wants to buy from Stryper, it's safe to say in the Stryper world, we do very little licensing, very little. So most everything that we endorse or have licensed or are producing, it's available at Stryper.com. So if you see a T-shirt on Amazon, you should go to Stryper.com and try to buy that T-shirt.
Yeah.
For one, if it's on Stryper.com, you're doing a better service to the band by buying it there. And two, if it's not on Stryper.com, it's very likely, I'd say a 99% chance, it's a bootleg, because we would be selling it on Stryper.com if it was not a bootleg.
Right. That's a great point. I would take it a step further too, that those people buying the merchandise, if they go that route and go to the Stryper website to see if it's there, and if it's not, and they know it's not official, I would actually invite those people to report it, and suggest that they report it.
That's a great idea.
I think before they do, make sure it's not official, because we do have official things up on Amazon, obviously with our albums and vinyl and whatnot over the years. But I was just looking the other night, and there's so many things that are not official. It's crazy.
And also, there are things that are made to look official, even though they're not. There's a big market for old concert T-shirts, so a lot of these bootleggers will buy an actual Stryper T-shirt from To Hell with the Devil, press it up. The colors might look a little different, but otherwise, to the average fan, they're going to think that is an actual 1987 To Hell with the Devil shirt. So I do have fans that contact me asking if a item is actually official or not. And for anybody watching this, if you are looking at something and you're interested in it, but you're not sure if it's official, shoot me an email. I will gladly let you know. I can normally, within a minute or two, tell you right away if that is the real deal or if it's not. I don't think Stryper, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, I don't think Stryper has an issue with old concert T-shirts. It's the dressing of these new ones, or these, ones made to look like old concert T-shirts. Right. That's the issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find it very interesting that it's that easy for Amazon to offer that stuff. I wish there was someone policing it a little bit better. I realize they deal with a lot of different items from different vendors, but wow. I mean, that's just crazy to me that anyone can go on Amazon and sell whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that sweater, Brett, you're wearing right there, I think that's a bootleg striped sweater we sold in '87. I'm pretty sure.
I carefully took the embroidered Stryper logo off. I hope. I didn't think you'd catch that.
So Brett, that's Brett at Stryper.com that people should email if they have a question.
Yeah, I'll put it up on the screen, but
Cool.
BRETT at Stryper.com. And like I said, whether it's a t-shirt or a CD or a poster, you name it. But the last week now, I've been going through Amazon and I've been pulling hundreds of illegal Stryper items, everything from t-shirts and CDs to coffee mugs, pillows, posters. I found some Christmas tree skirts, which were hilarious.
And to Amazon's credit or not, I'm curious because you just started this process recently. Are they taking it down?
They are fighting me a little bit on certain ones, which is odd because I've been doing this with eBay now for what, 15 years, and eBay will just take our word for it. You guys know what you're talking about. If you're telling us that is not an official item, we will take it down. Amazon, I don't know who it is, but basically says this looks like an actual concert t-shirt, so we are pending, we're looking into this further.
Wow.
I don't get that because I can tell there's one right now that they're looking into. It's made to look like an In God We Trust tour t-shirt. It's very clearly not to anybody that has been a fan.
Imagine if Apple went to Amazon and said, "Hey, this isn't an official computer, Apple computer," and Amazon told Apple that.
Right.
I mean, obviously, it's all about, I guess, weight and how much pull and power you have, but because we don't have that much. We're not a big name, so to speak.
We need to invite Jeff Bezos to the next. We need to invite Jeff Bezos to the next concert and see if make him a fan. And,
there you go.
Wow.
Well, and we're very new with Amazon right now, so I'm hoping as time goes on, they're going to see what I'm pulling down and what I'm leaving up, and they see we know what we're talking about. Just let us pull what we need to pull. And there's plenty of other Stryper products that are official on there that they're going to continue to sell.
That would be great.
So Dave, let's talk a little bit about what a fan can do legally versus what is illegal for them to do.
So are you talking about music or printed items?
Anything. So if a fan buys, let's say a Stryper to Help the Devil t-shirt back in '87, and now in current day turns around and sells it on eBay, is that acceptable?
Yeah, that's a good question. It sure is. It's sort of like, purchasing anything that's legal. That's a legal place to resell it. So yeah, if you have an old t-shirt that you bought legally back in 1986 at a Stryper concert and you want to resell it, I don't know why you would want to resell it. You want to keep those forever, but if you do want to resell it, it is legal.
Okay.
Well, see, I didn't know this. I've got like a trunk filled with these t-shirts. I'm going to sell them, man.
I'll be right over.
Wow.
So Dave, what about they buy a product that they thought was official on Amazon? It turns out it's not. Now they're turning around and trying to sell it. Yeah. Maybe they want some extra Christmas money. Is that legal?
That's a great question too. That is not legal. That's the equivalent of walking into someone's house, stealing their stereo, and then selling it at a pawn shop. It nowhere down the line does it become legal. It's illegal the whole way through the process.
Right. Yeah.
What about a fan that is a guitar player, and Mike, he takes some of your riffs from some of your songs and records it on YouTube and throws it up on YouTube? Would that be legal?
I have a different opinion of that than a lot of people. I think that's fine. If it's just like there's a guy named Mike Gross who does that. He gives guitar lessons and shows people how to play riffs from all different types of bands. He's not putting up the video. He's not putting up the entire song. There's no copyright infringement, in my opinion. And I think that's perfectly fine. I do think, though, there are some people that do break the law and infringe upon our rights by putting up, when we are getting ready, for example, when we are getting ready to release an album, and 2 days before the album comes out, somebody that downloaded the stream from the label who is supposed press puts it up on YouTube before we release the album. That's infringement. That's horrible. That leaks the album. It hurts our sales, and it's not right. That happens all the time.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, I think, you know, it's back to the breaking into someone's houses analogy. If you take something that's not yours and use it to either make money or claim that it is yours, it's just illegal. It's as illegal as walking into someone's house and taking their TV.
Yeah.
So for years, as I mentioned before, I've been pulling things off of eBay, and I have had people email me after the fact saying, I bought that fair and square. I'm sorry, I didn't know it wasn't official, but I paid money for that. So can you either reimburse me for it or let me sell it? And the answer to both of those is no.
Well, of course.
The answer is no. If we feel, I mean, I had some guitars stolen, and, you know, I offered the guy what he paid for it, one of my guitars. He didn't take it. He wouldn't accept it. And I got my guitar back. But I mean, I think that relates to the exact specific situation. It's dependent upon the situation. You know, I think in some cases, maybe we will pay someone for something. In most cases, no. And nor are we, you know, nor do we have to.
I mean,
right?
back to your Apple example, imagine someone walking into a house, stealing an Apple computer,
Right.
going out in their car, selling it to someone else, and that's someone else going to Apple and saying, hey, I thought this was legal. Would you give me my money back?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. Apple has the power and the money to probably press charges. They'd probably press charges and hire attorneys and really go after them. But yeah, that's a great point, and it's pretty funny when you think about it. It's ridiculous.
So Dave, what about somebody customizes their car and paints a really big Stryper logo on the hood? Is that legal?
You know, you're supposed to reprint any logo. You're supposed to get the approval for that. And we get that request a lot. People wanting to print the logo on different stuff it becomes much more of a problem if you're using that reprint of the logo for profit in any way, or if it deters from profit from the original copyright owner.
Right.
So if you're just putting it on your leisure, you know, your RV, and you want to ride around the country and promote Stryper, we're going to give you our blessing, and it's really, there's nothing that's going to prevent. We would ask that you ask our permission, but we're going to give it to you for something like that.
What about tattoos?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, tattoos.
There you go. That's a big thing right now.
So yeah, anytime you use somebody's logo, you're supposed to get their approval, whether it's for profit or not. But you tend to, if it's not for profit or does not deter from the profit of the copyright owner, you're likely going to get permission.
Mm-hmm.
So if a fan wants permission for something like that, like Mike said, a tattoo, I see a lot of fans getting more and more of those. Who do they contact for that?
Yeah, we have kind of a catch-all email address, business@stryper.com, that can kind of, you know, filter into anything, including bootleg stuff. Anybody that has any question, business@stryper.com makes its way to one of us.
Okay.
I think most of the time, at least what I've seen with tattoos, they don't get permission. And we don't really care because we're just going, oh, wow, let me see your tattoo, man. You know, so it's never really a problem regarding tattoos, but maybe someday it will be. Who knows?
And it's also absolutely no way to resell that item.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
So what about, and this I've seen and heard a lot of, and both of you guys can chime in on this. They buy the latest Stryper album on iTunes, and then they love it. It's the best they ever heard, and they want to witness to their friends. So they copy it for their friends or burn it to a CD and give that CD away. Is that legal?
It's unfortunately not, and we certainly understand the often pure motive behind that, but it's still not legal to take something and duplicate it and send it out to someone.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Stryper has we do have a lot of fans that will buy 2 CDs, buy 2 copies of the same thing so that they can share one with friends.
Yeah.
And even as a band, we often do bundle packages where we say, hey, 2 for 1 so that you can give one away.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of bootlegs of Stryper products coming out of Russia right now. I've just noticed in the last couple of months, they've been popping up every week.
That's interesting.
Why?
That explains the Russian checks I've been getting.
Yeah.
I'm getting some big
In
Russian
rubles.
checks. No, I didn't know that. So a lot of products coming out of Russia, huh?
Why do these products hurt the band?
Yeah. I mean, one thing to keep in mind, when you buy at Stryper.com, it's certainly supporting the band, but it's also supporting people that the band has chosen to work with. There is someone in a warehouse filling a T-shirt in an envelope that Stryper has either directly or indirectly hired to do that work on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not just affecting the band, you're really affecting dozens, if not hundreds of jobs when it comes down to all of this. When you're buying from Stryper.com, people are being put to work that Stryper has asked to work for them. Whereas when you're buying elsewhere, legal or not, it doesn't directly impact the band like it does when you're purchasing at Stryper.com.
Right. And the other thing to keep in mind, and I don't want to come across as a drama queen here, but it's true. Those outlets or people that sell product that isn't official Stryper product, the way it affects us is we don't see a penny from that. And, especially now in 2019 and 2020, with the pandemic and the future of touring, nobody knows when they're going to tour again. We may not be touring for 2, 3, 4 more years. We just don't know. Everyone says, it's going to happen next year. Nobody knows that. No one knows that. So, we're at a point in our lives where every penny that we see that we make really helps our situation, so we can pay our bills and we can survive as individuals and as a band. And, the more money that's coming directly to Stryper, and rightfully so, the better off we're going to be during these insane times. So it's really important, especially now.
Yeah, that's right. It used to be, when we would wrap up a tour at the end of a tour, we certainly talk about the finances. And it was usually we would talk about this topic or that topic. And then it was like, oh yeah, and we made some merchandise money.
Right.
It was like, an extra amount that we made for this thing. But now that is it. That is what this band makes. It's those things. There is no touring money and then there's this.
Right.
It's this and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to add, as a fan, this is the most exciting time to be a Stryper fan. You guys are more active than you've ever been. The albums just seem to take it up another notch and another notch. But as a fan, I realize if we're not supporting the band, that's going to dry up. That's going to cease to be, because Mike, you're a family man. You need to support your family, just like the other guys in the band and the road crew and the management.
Yep.
The merchandise company.
So true.
I know as a fan that if I don't support the band that I love, this incredible time that we're experiencing, almost every year or every other year, we have a new Stryper album. It's not regurgitated material. It's all new stuff. What band from the 80s is still doing that? So as a fan, I implore other fans, if you love Stryper, if you want this to continue, we need to support our guys.
Right.
It's plain and simple, especially now with the pandemic and Stryper's not able to tour.
Yeah, it's a trickle effect and a domino effect. If we make less and less and we sell less and less, it reflects on everybody associated with us. And of course, that one of those companies being the label. And if they're not making back their money, then, you know, we're not going to get offers to do future albums. And in the future, that day may come, or we're not able to make albums and release albums through a label. You know, so these are all things that we all need to think about and consider. That's why it's so important to support the band. And the best way to do that is to help the band. You know, don't take away from the band or contribute to the problem. Help us solve the problem.
And you guys are being very creative right now. You're not able to tour, but you're doing other things to supplement your income, like the pay-per-view you just recently did. You have that website with the exclusive content. And let's talk a little bit about both of those. So fans are very receptive to both of them. The unfortunate side to that is we've seen some fans that are taking that exclusive content and turning around and posting it on YouTube or on Facebook.
Bummer.
And it's unfortunate, but
Dave, why don't you touch on that first? Man, yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to a few of those fans, Brett, and I think, you know, it is a bummer. We were talking off camera here before, and you know, a lot of people think, hey, I've paid for this once. I should be able to do anything I want with it. And that's just not the case. It's just illegal to do. And as pure as your intentions may be, as much as you may want to go on Facebook and say, this is my favorite band, and look at this thing I went to and made an illegal recording of, I'm now posting it. You just can't. It just takes away from everything this band has worked to do. And you know, all that aside, it's just wrong. It's just wrong to take someone else's stuff and do something else with it that you haven't been given permission.
And it's a common sense thing too. At the end of the day, if we all just sit and think about something, most of us know right from wrong, right? We know what's right, we know what's wrong. Sometimes in the back corners of our mind, we're saying, well, how much can I get away with? You know, I'm going to do this anyway and see if I can do a little bit. Maybe I won't get caught or whatever. That's not the way we should be. You know, we don't do that. Like when I go on demand and I rent a movie for $7.99, I don't figure out a way to record it, to keep it. If I want to do that, you know, I pay the $19.99, so I own it. It's in my hard drive or whatever, and then I own it. And I can watch it 100 million times. But even then, I wouldn't burn a copy and put it up on YouTube because I just know in my heart that's wrong. That's not right. That's not what you should do. And especially take it a step further when we've announced that we're going to be releasing it as a hard copy, and then it's up on YouTube before we release it. I mean, that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help the fans, the other fans. It just defeats everything. And boy, we just need people's help to keep that from happening. So important.
And I know how much time went into that pay-per-view. That was months of planning, getting everything all set up. And again, you have the production, you have staff, you have all these people, and you actually announced you want to do that for every album.
We'd like to.
But if fans are going to be waiting now for it to show up on YouTube and watch it for free, so the sales go down, you probably are not going to continue to do that.
We won't be able to do it if that's the case.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because that pay-per-view, you know, that happened over a few days. You had a few days to watch it. This wasn't a single, that's the thing, like the way we're announcing these, you buy the ticket, you got like 3 days to watch it. We're not making this difficult. It's not like you have to be there at a single time and watch this thing. You buy the ticket, you watch it, and it goes away. It's very much equivalent to like going to the premiere of a movie in a movie theater and filming it and then posting it.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. I mean,
they don't allow you to do
common
that.
sense that you can't do it, but yet somehow when it comes to music, that seems okay at times.
I know.
Even though it's exactly the same thing.
So true. I mean, even at concerts, when people come and film the entire concert, they're holding up their iPad in front of somebody's face and they're filming the whole concert and they put it up on YouTube. It's like, why is that? why is that acceptable? And if you say anything about it, you're a jerk and don't infringe upon my rights and all this craziness. It's a mentality that shouldn't be, right?
Yeah. What about, Dave, what about the fan that went to the pay-per-view and took a few screen captures and posted a picture of the guys jamming, or maybe at that end shot where everybody's smiling? What about that?
Yeah, I think all that's fine. I mean, because again, thinking back to the basic concept of, are you taking something from the band that they would have normally made? I think if somebody posts a picture of something they went to, back to Michael's example of going to a concert, there's a difference between holding your iPad up and recording the entire concert and holding it up and taking a picture and saying, here's where I was.
Or recording a guitar solo or something,
Exactly.
you know, with the whole show. It's like common sense. We all know what we're doing that's wrong, and we all know what we're doing that's right. Come on now.
That's right. It is common sense. And to your point, Brett, like, I would actually encourage people to take pictures of these things, because we do like for our fans to promote the stuff that we're doing and to tell their friends about the stuff that we're doing.
Right.
We just don't want them to come into our house, take everything, and give it away.
Yep.
Dave, you said
Especially our
something.
food, man. Don't touch my food.
Right.
Do not touch it. Or
Or
my
your coffee.
Yeah, exactly. My coffee.
Dave, you said something in an email that I really liked. You said just because something's legal doesn't always mean it's right. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, there are, you know, when you're wondering whether I should post this or whether I should buy this or whether I should do this,
Right.
you really shouldn't think, is it legal? I mean, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But is it helping the band? Is it the right thing to do?
Mm-hmm.
Those don't always, and sometimes very rarely align. You might, you know, you might have something that you could legally sell or legally show or legally display, but it might not be the right thing to do. Not to mention, like, back to the example that Michael said, you go and you record the whole concert. You know, if you, I don't know, we've all seen videos of, you know, artists who make mistakes on stage. They fall down, they do this, you know, whatever. And yeah, sure, it's legal to post that. You were there, you captured a photo of it, as long as there's not music transmitted, but you captured a photo of it, or captured. It's still not the right thing to do. It's, you know, that's someone's life and their people and their, you know, and just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. You have to, I really encourage the Stryper fan to think more along those lines, particularly based on what Stryper is all about. Is this the right thing to do? Not is it the legal thing to do? You can get away with a lot legally. We've seen that in our world. But it's not always the right thing to do.
I fell in Puerto Rico when I was playing with Boston. Tried to jump up on an ego box, and I fell. And that piece of the show, I remember going home a week later and looking for stuff online. I couldn't find any other part of the show online except that.
Yeah.
That's what went up on YouTube, and you can go watch it right now. And it's like, just to back up Dave's point of, like, you know, again, it just comes down to people thinking about what they're posting a little bit more. Should I, shouldn't I? Is it right? Is it wrong? That kind of thing.
Yeah. So guys, let's wrap it up. Again, I want to say for the Stryper fan, if you're on the fence about buying something or posting something, Stryper has a great team working for them. If you have any questions, you can reach out to any of us. You can on Facebook or send an email. There are many ways. There's really no excuse. If you have a question, there's a lot of people you can reach out to. So again, if it's an actual collectible or a product that you have a question on, you can email me. If it's about posting something, I know Rebecca, who runs the Stryper fan club on Facebook. She's a great resource.
Or while we have everybody's attention, Michael's cell phone number is.
I'll sell that on eBay right when I get done with this. Guys, anything to add before we wrap it up?
Gosh, I would just, again, I don't want to beg people, but, plead with people to just reconsider whatever it is you're going to do, and think about it. Take a second to think about, is it going to hurt the band or is it going to help the band? And, that'll guide all of us in what we do when it comes to Stryper merch or music or video or whatever it is.
Yeah, we've made this point before, kind of privately, but I think it's worth saying publicly. This is not a wealthy band, as many might believe. They are not. I can attest. I know, and every little penny helps. It's easy to think of your favorite band and your favorite rock stars as like, they got a lot of money and living in the mansions and doing this and that's not the way Stryper is. And even if they could be, I'm not sure they would want to be. I mean, I think they're very giving and humble with their money, and they're not looking to, try to get wealthy here. They're trying to look to continue to do this, to continue to spread the message and to continue to get the word out. If you think back to the first time you got a Stryper Bible or went to a Stryper concert, they want to give that feeling to someone else. And so it's up to us as fans to support that mission so that they can continue to do that.
Thanks for taking time out of your day today to kind of clear the air and help inform us fans on what's right and what's wrong. And again, if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to us. And I personally, as a fan, I'm looking forward to more pay-per-views and more killer merchandise that you're going to come out with.
Me too.
Thanks for doing this, Brad.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks, man. And thank you guys for your time. You guys have an awesome day. Please stay safe. Okay. Double up on those Stryper masks. Be careful out there.
Awesome plug. Awesome plug, Mike.
Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking